Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Lincoln Riley, the USC Trojans, landing their first commitment of this transfer portal window, and former UCF cornerback Chasen Johnson. I like this for a couple of different reasons. I think I most notably like it because this guy's a proven commodity at the cornerback position, especially in the back half of 2024. This was a guy that, played early for UCF in the first half of the season, but really became a guy they wanted to start and not really keep off the football field late in the 2024 season. To me, that tells me this kid's getting better as a football player. More importantly, this kid's only going into year two of his college football career. This is not some sort of fifth year senior that you're adding and you kind of know what you're getting. You're getting a guy that you know can start at the power four level, but you're getting a guy that's going into year two that might be a damn good cornerback over the next couple of years for USC as well. And this one makes a lot of sense. And one of the things that really stands out to me about Lincoln Riley and USC, they're being very intentful of how they want to use the transfer portal this year. And you can tell they've taken a long look at this USC roster, said, hey, where do we need to add talent and depth? Cornerback was certainly one of those positions we talked about over the last couple of weeks. They're going out and doing it. And we're going to talk about a bunch of other targets that will be on USC over the next couple of days, all at positions that USC wants to address. Last year, it felt like at times USC was using the transfer portal, but it wasn't necessarily as targeted as I would like. And sometimes they were bringing in players that, okay, we like the addition, but how much of an impact are they going to have on this football team? And at times it felt like they ignored some of these positions that, hey, we got to address, the tackle spot inside of the defensive line. To me, it seems like USC is saying, hey, where are the spots on our roster that we need to add some talent and depth? That's what we're going to focus on in the transfer portal. I think that's going to be an effective approach. Want to get into Chasen Johnson, talk about a few other names that will be on campus. Now, before we get into it, as always, to the USC fans, I say it all the time, the amount of support y'all continue to show, all the fight ons y'all throw in the comment section, that stuff, it means the world to the boys. I've had a blast talking this program. Can't thank you guys enough for the support. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Going to be a busy next couple of days and weeks for this USC program. A lot of commitments to break down. Without further ado, let's get into Chasen Johnson. Again, I think it starts with the trajectory this kid's on. When he's playing kind of around 15 to 20 snaps early as a true freshman. And then after week 6, it didn't really come off the field all that much for UCF and played a lot of football as a true freshman, which we all know is pretty rare. You take a look at the numbers, 26 targets, only gave up 15 catches. Those are impressive numbers for just any cornerback, much less a true freshman. And so this one to me makes a lot of sense, especially as you lost so much experience in that cornerback room after the 2024 year. You're adding a guy that, he's going to come in and contribute right away, but he's going to be a building block for this USC defense. He's going to be back on this team in 2026. He's a guy that you can really build this secondary around. Another name I keep an eye on is DJ Harvey. We talked about DJ Harvey. He's more of that fifth-year senior that's kind of a plug-and-play guy that you feel pretty damn good is going to contribute in a big way for USC in the 2025 season. Going to be a fifth-year senior, but a guy that started at Virginia Tech, didn't play a ton, transferred back home to California at San Jose State, started playing a lot of football at a high level. This has been a guy that USC's identified they want to add to their program. It seems like this one's trending in the right direction. So you look at the cornerback spot, they're definitely addressing it, and they're addressing with some different kind of players, right? Chasen Johnson, a younger guy that you can build around. DJ Harvey, one of those veterans that you kind of just plug into the secondary. And look, USC's got a lot of youth in that room. Bringing in a guy like DJ Harvey, who's played a lot of football, that's certainly going to help this team. The next position that I don't think we were planning on having to address, but with Quentin Joyner transferring out, has suddenly become a position that you want to address, is the running back spot. Kerryon Stewart seems to be one of the guys USC wants to go after. This kid's really fun. 5'9", 220, thick lower half. And although he is a shorter running back, he runs extremely hard, and his contact balance is incredible, which makes sense. When you're talking about 5'9", 220, low center of gravity, strong lower half. This kid just does not go down at first contact, and the numbers kind of bear that out. Averaged over 6 yards per carry during his career, has run for over 2,300 yards. Kind of reminds you of the Woody Marks edition, right? Just get a running back that's played a lot of football, that you kind of know what you're getting. Now, Woody Marks gave USC a little bit more than I think they expected. Woody Marks emerged as one of the better running backs in the country. You're kind of hoping the same for Terrion Stewart. In 2024, averaged 4.1 yards per carry after contact. This is a guy that, again, he invites contact. He's not afraid to go down. The short area quickness is really impressive too. Doesn't have really the long speed which you'd expect for 5'9", 220, although doesn't really get caught from behind all that often. But the contact balance and short area quicks, they're really, really impressive. 63 missed tackles forced in 2024. You're talking about adding a veteran running back to kind of supplement a young running back room. A guy that's run for 2,300 yards and Terrion Stewart, this one to me would make a lot of sense. Not the pass catcher that Woody Marks is, and that's not saying he can't, just not a ton of opportunity to catch the football out of the backfield. That'd be an interesting thing to monitor, in spring practice and fall camp. Terrion Stewart, very, very fun kid. Getting into the meat of the discussion I want to have, and that is what USC decides to do on the defensive line. And Keyshawn Silver has emerged as one of those top targets for USC. I'm a Michigan fan, and so the top four here is Miami, Florida, USC, and Michigan. So Michigan's in on him too. Here's my take on Keyshawn Silver. If Coach Henderson thinks he can maximize a guy like Keyshawn Silver, sign me up. And there's a reason this kid was a 5-star coming out of high school. He's 6'4", he's 335 pounds. He's got a 7'1" wingspan. He's checking all the boxes you want to see physically from a guy on the inside of the defensive line. And more notably, he's just a body that USC did not have in 2024. And didn't have any guy that was 6'3", 335 pounds. I think their biggest defensive lineman that played was Kobe Pepe. And Keyshawn Silver is a big body that's hard to deal with because of the size and length. My reservation is you're hearing the rumors that he wants 7 figures. He's going into his 5th year, hasn't necessarily played to the traits. And my problem with talking about traits with a 5th-year senior is it going to click? We talk about traits all the time at the high school ranks because those are guys that are raw. You got to coach up, but you're looking for physical traits. My question is, all right, Keyshawn Silva, you got all the physical traits. Why haven't we seen you play like a 5-star defensive lineman throughout the first 4 years of your career? And that's not me saying that he's not a good football player. He's very, very solid and was very solid in the SEC the last 2 years at Kentucky. It's more of it is he going to be that game wrecker that we're talking about we want to see USC go out and get? Coach Henderson, a lot smarter than I am. If you've seen Keyshawn Silva, you've gotten him on campus, you've watched this film, and you say, hey, I think we can maximize this kid, then he's probably well worth it. My only reservation is, do you think you can maximize him going into year 5? If you think you can, this is a massive addition. And again, at the end of the day, USC doesn't have this kind of body on the defensive line, and you're probably looking to add one. Keyshawn Silver could be that guy. The other guy that I want to talk about, 2 other guys on the inside of the defensive line, this is kind of where the conversation gets interesting when you talk about roster building. Okay, Keyshawn Silver, love him. David Blay, probably going to be maybe a third of what Keyshawn Silver's asking for in the transfer portal. 6'4", 300 pounds, elite against the run. Doesn't give you the pass rush juice, which is certainly something USC is looking to add. This is a guy that is going to be a stalwart on the inside, stopping the run. I mean, eating up double teams, had over 18 run stats for Louisiana Tech in 2024. This one would make a lot of sense. And another guy in Parker Peterson. Look, I'm kind of leaning towards, hey, make sure you get some of these guys. David Blay, Parker Peterson, kind of some of those dudes that do the dirty work on the inside. Parker Peterson gives you a little bit more pass rush juice as well. David Blay, a little bit more of a run stopper. Parker Peterson, a little bit more of a pass rusher. Different kind of bodies, and most importantly, depth. And I think one of the big question marks that we probably can't answer, but Coach Henderson, Dan Lynn, and Lincoln Riley can, is what do we think G-Day looks like? What do we think Carlin Jones looks like? What do we think we're going to get out of Jakeem Stewart as a true freshman? That's probably the conversation you got to have. If you think a lot of those guys are going to be dudes for you in 2025, maybe you don't have to add 4 defensive linemen. But if you're still kind of waiting for Gita Adversary to put it together, or a guy like Carlin Jones, then you're trying to add probably 2 or 3. And you look at Keyshawn Silver, David Blake, Parker Peterson, all really, really good candidates. And again, what I'm most excited about is every position that we've talked about is a need for USC. And so it's very targeted in terms of what kind of players do we need to add to this program. Last one I want to talk about, I love this kid, Joseph Williams from Tulsa. True freshman last year, averaged 18 and a half yards per catch, over 500 yards. Another guy similar to Chasen Johnson that emerged late in the season. And so you think the trajectory is going in the right direction. You want to replace a wide receiver that's a bigger body that can work vertically down the field because Deuce Robinson at the portal. Joseph Williams could be that guy. Really excited to see where USC goes. But again, what's most exciting for me is they've identified the positions they want to address. That's what they're going after in the portal. We'll see how it turns out. Again, appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.